You know what, we just have State Bank of India's numbers that have just come in, so I'm going to read out stuff from the press release. The profit after tax and after minority interest has come in at 5,196 crore rupees, this versus 5,583 crore rupees. So that's SBI's bottom line. I just want to very quickly compare with what the poll was expecting. 5,190. Okay, it's come in actually quite lower than estimates at 6,400 crore rupees. Let me repeat that number once again. It's come in at 5,196 crore rupees. This is definitely lower than expectations because we were expecting 6,400 crore rupees. I'm just going to very quickly look if there's any sort of exceptional item. Nope, there isn't. I have a provision figure which is at 2,290 crores. It's halved compared to the corresponding quarter at 5,600 crore rupees. The NI number will have to be calculated. In fact, overall the asset quality looks pretty stable. The gross NPA, like I mentioned, 4.77 versus 5.28 sequentially, and the net NPA 1.23% versus 1.59%. The NI as well will just be worked out in a short while from now for the team. Meanwhile, I'll just check if we have any other numbers in the press release. Okay, we have Lalitabh Srivastava joining in. Lalitabh, hi. I think overall the bottom line seems to be much below estimates, even though there has been this this improvement in the provisions. What do you think has hit the bottom line? Because our expectation was over 6,000 crores. It's come in at just about 5,100 crore.
Yeah, hi. So I think on the operational front, at least on the NI part, the numbers seems to be good. PAT wise, I think the numbers are not bad actually. These are largely in line with what we were expecting. We were expecting around 5,500 crores. So it is slightly below our expectation, but not too much. Notably, what is notable in this results would be the pro forma gross NPA numbers. So they have actually improved on a sequential basis, and I think that is a positive. PCR also has 90% it is standing right now. So I think that is also something very important and very good. Loan growth, if you see, they have grown faster than system. So that is also we looked at in a positive light. So my sense is that numbers on the asset quality and book front looks to be pretty healthy.
Yeah, the provision for non-performing assets is at 2,290 crores, just a little under 2,300 crores. This versus 5,620 crores in the previous quarter. So largely the asset quality bit as well seems to be more or less healthy at this juncture. Lalitabh, anything that you would like to check in terms of, what would please you in terms of the slippage number, the recovery number at this juncture? Because the RBI as well had highlighted that, and in fact we had a couple of private banks as well saying that, look, beware of the slippage number maybe in Q4. So do you think that could perhaps deliver a negative surprise based on what you're seeing? We don't have the slippage number yet though.
Yeah, actually. So the management commentary will be looked out for, but my sense is that the larger banks are in the private sector space were not having that kind of a problem compared to some of the banks which were operating in the business banking and SME banking side. They were facing some challenges on the asset quality side, but on the retail side and the larger corporate side, the problem was not too much. And I think State Bank of India is also going to fall in that same category. I do not expect a very significant challenge for them because they have a very diversified loan book portfolio also. And that said, the management commentary on that will be looked for. See, the pro forma NPA is just one indication. And that has actually declined sequentially. So the feeling one would have is that they have even last few quarters they were upfronting provisions, they were aggressively providing for the assets, and I think that trend has continued in this quarter. So the commentary on Q4 should be looked into, but I am not too much perturbed on that at present.
All right. Okay. Let me also now bring on board Siji Philip of Axis Securities and also ET Now's banking analyst Varun to talk about these numbers. Varun, we have largely covered the benchmark numbers, NII, PAT, provisions. We also have the performance number, which Mr. Ashwini Bhatia himself has shared with us, at 16,400 crore rupees versus 14,400 crore rupees versus Q2. So, how are you reading into this? Largely, what are the other details in SBI's third quarter numbers that we should pay attention to?
Right, Mabina, like you said, so there's incremental slippages Q on Q of around 2,400 crores. So that's something to keep your eyes out on. But holistically, pro forma NPA numbers are actually quite good because we've seen a much larger spike in the reported NPA and the pro forma NPA in other banks. And even in the Q on Q movement in the pro forma, it's not been that bad for SBI. So, I mean, that's just a positive there, that the asset quality seems to on the face of it be okay for now. Of course, NII, PAT, PPP are all below our estimates, and because NII is low, NIM is basically the same thing. So the NIM would have also come in, I think, not too much of a growth this quarter, although I'm still not able to find that number exactly what it is. Provisions this quarter were expected to inflate Q on Q by around 15%, right? So on that front, I guess you can say there might have been a milder increase in the provision at 10,300 and 10,100. It's definitely not a 15% Q on Q increase, which means that the management feels that they are already extensively provided, right? All the other banks, even some of the private banks, we've seen a significant uptick in provision. So that's one thing which is different for SBI for sure. And like you all were just discussing for the last 7-8 minutes, I've been listening. We'll obviously be looking out for that presser at 2 p.m. for more details.
Okay. All right. CG as well joins us now on the show. CG, anything noteworthy in these numbers? Varun spoke about how that 10,000 crore rupee number in terms of provisions has stayed put. We have a slightly enhanced slippage, incrementally in this quarter. So anything that's standing out, what would you watch out from the management commentary?
So basically the results have come in largely in line with our estimates. The net interest income is also what we had estimated, 288 billion, and there has been around the slight spike in provisions, but it is mostly not a big jump that we had seen. So we were expecting around 94 of provisions, 94 billion, and it has come around 103 billion. So there's a slight spike in other provisions. If you look at the pro forma NPAs, that has actually come down a bit from 5.88 in Q2 to 5.44 in Q3. So there is a slight improvement, so to say, in the GNPA number. So basically, in the management commentary, we will be looking at what would be the quantum of restructuring which could come up in the fourth quarter.
Okay. Okay, thanks for that. We're also joined by Siddharth Purohit, who's with us on the phone now. Hi Siddharth, thanks for joining in. What's your first cut on these numbers?
Yeah, hi. So the results headline numbers looks decent. In fact, last quarter also was relatively better, and now, as things are picking up, maybe economic activity. So SBI being the largest bank is reporting stable set of numbers, and I'm really quite positively surprised by the NP numbers. Even if I consider the Supreme Court dispensation, then also the GNP numbers is not very high. So the asset quality seems to have surprised on the positive side, and things are not as bad as we thought during the initial quarters of this financial year. And I think the biggest issue is that what kind of quantum of restructuring and all those will be visible in the coming quarters. But that also will not be very significant, I believe, because when I'm looking at the other banks' results so far, what has been discussed, things are not turning out to be so bad as we thought in the last quarter also. So decent set of numbers, I would say, for SBI. And now with the budget provisions giving a lot of flexibility for banks, and in terms of bad banks and all. SBI being the largest will have a lot of options to upload some of the NPAs, and the coming quarters could also be good. So I'm satisfied with this quarter results, and no doubt I was a bit conservative in the previous quarters on the performance, and I was not expecting things to improve so fast. But really things have turned up very fast for the economy and for the bank. So good set of numbers, I would say.
Okay, Siddharth, well, thank you so much for joining in. A big thank you to Mabina and all our other guests as well who just helped us decode these numbers. I think we'll slip into a quick commercial and then we'll be back with more market updates. Stay tuned.